Hey everybody, what's up? It's another episode of On the Ground with your boy Justin Brown. It's me, Justin, and I'll start this episode off wishing all the mothers that are listening to this podcast a happy belated Mother's Day to you and yours. All the moms, the aunts, the single moms, this is your day. Or Sunday was your day, rather. You get shown the respect and love and appreciation that all mothers deserve as determined by whoever makes calendars. You thank that guy or lady for thinking of Mother's Day and putting that on there. So appreciate y'all. And this is your day, so it was your day, so I hope you soaked it up. Hope you got all the gifts and prizes and love and meals and all the beautiful things that you deserve on Mother's Day. Because when Father's Day rolls around, I don't really want to hear it. That's for fathers and, for people that didn't have a father, feel like their mother did it. I mean, that's your decision. But same time, one day a person, that's my feeling. I think my mom and my dad both did like motherly and fatherly things each. So I'm not celebrating them both on each day. I show them love in general and give them like an extra dinner on me on those days. I'm celebrating each person on their own respective day. You know what I mean? I'm not celebrating Malcolm X on Memorial Day. You know what I mean? I'm not celebrating Abraham Lincoln on Halloween. So take your day, soak it up, enjoy it, and I hope it went well. I really did. I really do. But what's been going on this week, man? First and foremost, positive vibes out for a couple things. First is going to be Bill Russell, the legendary Celtic, Mr. I believe 11 rings himself, the most dominant black player of all time in basketball, was hospitalized early Saturday morning, this morning, May 19th. So I hope everything went well. It turns out he was only there for a few hours. And I guess he popped right back out. He's feeling okay. So, keep him around as long as he wants to be kept around, man. He trailblazed so much in basketball that, he deserves the best things and he deserves respect from all sides of the aisle. So I don't care if you're a Lakers fan or not. You better send some positive vibes out to that dude. Without him, there's no Kobe or Magic or Kareem, or Lonzo Ball. That guy still stinks, but I hope he has a future ahead of him. And then secondly, more importantly, positive vibes out to the people of Santa Fe High School, or the high school in Santa Fe that got shot up this past week on anti-bullying week, I think, of all weeks. It's terrible to hear. Just glad personally that it wasn't a black kid that did it. The white guys, I think, were might have been pissed about what happened in Parkland. I know that was a Hispanic student, and school shootings are really their thing. So I guess they wanted their title back. So swiftly but surely, after all the rallies and the TV stuff, another kid decides to shoot up a school, and I believe that's 400. I think I read a stat where it says since 2011, the U.S. and I think the U.K. have had the most school shootings, with the U.K. coming in a whopping, let me say the U.S. coming in at only 423 school shootings in the past 7 years. Only 243? 400, one of the numbers, man, high as shit. But that's not to be... that pales in comparison to the whopping number the UK had. They had a whopping 26 school shootings in the past 7 years. Jesus Christ. England, what are you guys doing over there? Can't you guys get yourselves under control? Look at our example. Ours is maybe a little uptick higher, but we do have 5 times the population. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to look at your laws and think about what you're doing over there in England. All those school shootings. 2 baker's dozens, if you will, of school shootings. I don't know, man. Do you guys even make guns over there in England? There's still muskets or Whatever the thing is with the bayonet at the end. Stop it. Should be ashamed of yourselves over there. But yeah, man, positive vibes out to both of those groups. To all the victims' families, affected students, all that stuff, man. Take the time you need to recover. I've never personally been part of a school shooting. Somebody set off or called in a bomb threat once, but other than that, except somebody getting beat up in like the locker room from time to time, like we really didn't have any traumatizing moments in high school and stuff. So that was, yeah, man, this shout out to them and stuff. Moving along on a less somber note, just for context, you guys know I love the Wizards. I actually wrote my own little piece for Bullets Forever. That's a forum/website provided by SB Nation for Washington Wizards fans and news and things like that. And although it's a fan post, I wrote a nice little fan post this past week describing ways that the Wizards can acquire a pick in this year's draft for any of the picks in the team. It was 10 through 19. And it was going to be a two-parter. The first part I posted was 10 through 14, how to acquire those picks from the teams involved or in possession of them now. And happy to say, as much as I talk about the Wizards and stuff, my peers on the website, at least other nerds who like to talk basketball on Bullets Forever, seem to like the article enough to motivate me to go ahead and write the second part of the article, which would cover picks 15 through 19. Of course, the Wizards had pick 15, so we can't trade it for ourselves. If we could, I would love to give away Scott Brooks to like a older Wizards team in the past that's already failed and not won a championship. I would like to trade Scott Brooks for a coach in the past. Can we bring back Randy Whitman? At least he had discipline. Scott Brooks is a weenie. He's a big weenie. Doesn't know what he's doing, it feels like. I'm not the only one that feels this way. But if you guys want to, bulletsforever.com. Please check out the post. It should be one of the first 5 or so at this moment on the fan post page, Bullets Forever. But please check it out if you can. Love feedback and all that stuff. Even if you're just going on the website to say it stinks, at least you're going to post that on my article if you don't mind. So yeah, happy about that, and hopefully if this works out well, I'll write some more things just to work on my writing skills and such. But yeah, man, and on top of that, of course, NBA conference final time. You got the Warriors and the Rockets even series right now, with the Rockets taking game 2 at home. The first game they got spanked, and the second game I think they figured out that James Harden shouldn't dribble the ball more by himself than Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green, I believe it was, combined. Klay Thompson, too. Like, he had 550 dribbles, James Harden did by himself in Game 1. And they had, 548, 49. 4 players versus 1. You see how well that works out, John Wall? Not very in the playoffs. Not very well. Second game, I guess the Rockets figure out, hey, there are other players that can dribble the ball. James, why don't you pass the ball? And I guess James Harden heard it through the beard vine that he should pass the ball to other people. And it turns out it worked out really well, man. They won the second game by 22 points. I didn't get to catch it, but did see for back-to-back games, Steph Curry got his ankles broken, which it looks like it's going to be the weak link on that defense of the Warriors, man. It looks, from what I recall, reading, the Rockets ran a whole bunch of screens to finally get Steph Curry one-on-one, and he got the pants beat off of him. People scored on him over 50% of the time when he was the primary defender. So would love to see the Rockets go ahead and do some damage to the beige Curry over there. And then more importantly, man, just to wrap things up real quick, the Eastern Conference Finals, man, the Celtics taking that commanding 2-0 lead over Cleveland out of what it seems nowhere. I think everyone was picking Cleveland going into the series. But, for this playoffs, I have a newfound respect for the Celtics and Brad Stevens. The more I keep reading about them, the more I watch these games. It's like these guys do not make a mistake. Like, they'll run 100 plays during the game or so on average and may make a mistake on 2. It's impeccable. It's something I totally respect. I'm still going to root for my boys in blue, the Wizards, the blue, red, and white. But these Celtics, man, they're a dangerous unit. And I'm really just hoping they do trade for a superstar like a Kawhi Leonard or a Paul George, just so that they don't have as many good young people. And I hope they really trade for somebody who's really good during the regular season and chokes in the postseason, a la, again, Paul George with his measly 5-6 points in the last game or two he had with the Thunder. That was disgusting. Russell Westbrook deserved better. He really did. Love Russell Westbrook. That's the favorite point guard, of course, but, I'm not being tangential, man. That's all the news I wanted to talk about, really. Looking forward just personally to going to Philly in a couple of weeks to try to do some comedy on the weekend while celebrating my girlfriend's birthday. That I'm definitely looking forward to. I've only been to Philly once. I refuse to run up the Rocky stairs. I don't even believe in Rocky. I might walk by to see other people doing it. I am going to try to have a black-ass time up there, have some black fun. That's what I'm looking to do. Checking out some arts, checking out some music, doing what my girlfriend wants to do, as hard as it is for me to say, and, having a fun overall experience in a couple weeks. So, man, all right, well, yeah, with that being said, that's all I got for you now. What I'd like to do is go ahead and, move it over to the interview. Today, I had the good friend, homie, Mr. Armon Tate, a.k.a. Armon, the Comedian. That's D.A. Comedian. That was his old name. That's the only name I will address him by, though, for the fact that he thought that was ever a good idea. But my man Armon the Comedian, a.k.a. Armon Tate, good dude. I've known him for a few years since I've been doing comedy as well. Sat down today and kind of let the conversation flow. Talked about comedy, talked about race, talked about kind of perseverance and influences, like just a whole bunch of different things. But it's good to sit down and talk with the homie Armon. So let's go ahead and get into that. Listen. Welcome back to the On the Grind podcast. It's your boy Justin Brown. Today I have a good friend and a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
My name is Armon Tate. What's going on, Justin? I'm from originally from Dallas, Texas. I guess I can tell you that. I've been living in D.C. for about 12 years now, and I just came up on my comedy 5-year anniversary like 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh shit! Congratulations.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Comedy anniversary in general or just in D.C.?
Anniversary in general.
Okay.
And I started in D.C. too.
Okay. Did you start at school or where did you start at?
I started at school, man. I don't know if I've ever told anybody this horrible. I started comedy. I had a really bad breakup where, the girl I was with for 4 years, I thought I was going to get married. I was finishing college. We broke up and like less than like 8 hours, I was kicked out of school too. So, yeah, it was a tough spring and summertime. And like during that time, I actually fell into comedy. Rollo went to school with me. So, like, Rollo, Kason, and Jacquez, we all went to school around the same time. And, like, they always promote shows. Just like anybody, you like, I'm going to come out. And you just bullshit. Until it was like, I was really going through something. And I'm like, I need to go ahead and get out in the space. And, like, comedy would be, like, a really good thing for me to just watch and, like, relieve. And, like, who knew, like, by the end of the set, I actually end up performing and shit,
True. Well, I mean, we're going to act like, we know each other in a minute, but that was for you guys, just so you had some background on our mom. But how'd that first show go? Because I can speak for me. That first one, I did it at Beer Baron in D.C. Wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what to expect.
It was funny because the way the way open mic comedy works, especially for doing it for so long, it was my first time really seeing it. So after a while, I saw some people kind of failed so badly that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If I fall, I can't fall that hard. I've seen some people bomb like a motherfucker. So I got up and actually did quite well. I didn't have anything prepared because I wasn't even planning to go up. Like within like the 2 minutes before I was gonna go up, I'm like, okay, I'll talk about my breakup. I just kind of like compared my breakup to getting out of jail. As far as like I didn't really know how to like socially, be out there
society
anymore. Yeah, and so that's really how I felt. So I was just kind of comparing the two. And it was pretty funny. I didn't have that many punches. What was really cool was like, I'm new. Nobody really gives a fuck about a new comedian. Mark Carter saw me, and he had pulled me over, and he was like, "Man, you were like really good. Your stage presence is already there. Just keep punching up, man, and you'll be good." And so I feel like honestly that encouragement was like, you know what, I think I'll do it again, because I mean, like, honestly, it was just on some whim shit. And so yeah, I've been doing it ever since then.
And speaking of Mark, I had him on like a few episodes and stuff too. A few episodes ago. And one thing that actually does stick out to me, you guys are kind of similar. You guys are pretty positive, social people that a lot of people can just get along with on stage and off stage. Is that something for you? You think you developed because of comedy, or that's just something that you just always?
That's something I always had. I was so this is embarrassing but funny as well. I was voted class most friendliest in high school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably one of the worst superlatives.
And didn't you go to school with all white people?
No. I'm from. I'm from Texas, so of course white people are around. But for the most part, so this is how it was in my neighborhood. It was basically in the '90s. It was very white. I was like one of the only few people, black folks, families, or whatever in this neighborhood. Eventually, by the 2000s, in middle school, early 2000s. It was already starting to become a lot more black and brown. And by the time I left at 18, it was a black neighborhood. So, what's kind of funny about this, honestly, is like I kind of watched a white neighborhood turn black, and then I moved to D.C., which is Chocolate City, and now it's Latte Land. So it's like I kind of got the full spectrum of, like I said, black turning white on how that works, and like how, white turning black works as well, which is very funny. So that could also shape my race opinion, like I say, about comedy too, from just
which we'll get into
getting to that too. But yeah, the friendliness, man, has just kind of always been there. I've always been a very jolly dude. I was very intimidating sports wise, and so I don't know if I just picked up the nice. I don't know. This is I've always kind of been like that. I'm like, I don't know. It's just kind of I'm always friendly. Sometimes I wish I wasn't.
How come? So, not to talk too much about Mark. But he did share when he was on, one thing he always has to be aware of in terms of just like being a nice dude, being cordial and stuff, is, people trying to take advantage of that, or in some ways trying to use that against you.
Yeah, and then, we live in a place where it's straight politics.
Oh, of course.
So, a lot of times people, when they see someone just kind of generally friendly, and they're like, hey, they're like, what the fuck do you want? You know what I mean? Like, that's usually, like, I usually kind of get that in the back of people, especially as I've gotten older. You come, it's funny, you're a black boy, everybody thinks that shit's amazing. You're like, oh man, you're great. You become a black man, they're like, what's up with you, bro?
Where's the ski mask and the gun type shit?
Yeah.
Cause dude, from the opposite spectrum, I think I'm like, not anti that, but I'm not as friendly and cordial, so I don't think I get that as much from people, but at the same time though, there's perks to it.
Yeah.
Like, women will talk to you more.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a positive thing. Yeah, it's just like one of those things too, where I've always noticed where, growing up, I've always had like some positive about being positive. People like, oh man, you're different, Armon. I don't feel like every black man or boy or girl or whatever has to have like this type of personality. You know what I mean? I just happen to have it. And so like when I see other people who are like, why isn't such and such friendly like you? It's like, because he's a human being, he's someone else. You know what I mean? Like, and so, it's very funny watching people respond to other people that you would say, like, aren't as friendly. Sometimes I'm like I said, I'm jealous of that sometimes. Where I'm like, I wish I could just tell somebody to fuck off, man. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't want that shit.
No, I know, but I wish I had it where I'm like, yeah, that just comes out right then. Because, I'll have like an afterthought. Like, I should have told that nigga to kiss my ass. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, dude, I think that would be nice, but at least you don't think the niceness helps you get booked on stuff?
Oh yeah, honestly,
at least the label of a nice guy.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. If I was getting booked like that, like on the regular, I'd be like, yeah, my friendliness books. Like to me, I feel like I don't know if it hinders me because, like I said, I don't know if people like feel like I don't know I'm engaging this guy. You know what I mean? But like you would think, the type of personality would actually help me get into some doors, but
Yeah, I've seen it. We talked about it and shit, man, and that's weird too, just because, when it comes to, like, being a black comedian, there's obviously, I think, a lot more hoops that we'll have to go through.
Yeah.
That other races won't have to go through.
Yeah.
And that
part of that, or one of them, includes trying to be like an individual.
Yeah,
that
definitely
isn't one of the cookie cutter models like the Shuck and Jive or the Jonan or things that people expect black people to do to be funny.
Yeah,
and you're trying to do different things. Is your comedy, you think, aligned with possibly one of the more traditional styles of black comedy, or is yours, you think, a little bit more unique for you because you find yourself to be?
I mean, I don't think any of us are reinventing the wheel in this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think, quite honestly, like, I mean, I try to be as natural as to me as possible, but I mean, as many influences I've had from other black entertainers. You know what I mean? I can't
help it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so yeah, a lot of times when it comes to my style, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, yeah, it's it's very special to like, nah, I mean, I'm just speaking my truth, man, and that's honestly like as much as I can, and I feel like that's what black comedians do. We speak our truth into whatever our experiences may be, and that's the funny part about it. Where now it just kind of seems like our truth's kind of like, I don't know if I want to hear that shit.
Hold on, regarding what?
Just, I mean, especially, like, we do talk about race, but, like, for instance, like, we do, one thing I notice in comedy is, like, we can hit hard on, like, Trump. You'll go into, like, a what you call it, somebody will be like,
especially here.
Yeah, especially here. But then, like, people won't talk about the fact that all these white people are, like, moving into their grandma's house. You know what I mean? And it's funny because they don't want you to talk about that. Like, you know what I mean? You start talking about gentrification too hard, regardless if it's funny or not, they're like, hey, looks like these people that live here are being a little sensitive about that. And it's like, but they okay with listening to everybody go hard on everybody else. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, when you're not holding up the lens against the people you're trying to make laugh, I think it's easier for them to laugh. But once you get into stuff that's maybe personal, so that's what I'm saying. Like, individuality is being a black comedian. So like, there's certain things black people, I think, are expected to talk about.
Yeah.
How they grew up poor.
Yeah.
What's the name? What white people do.
Yeah.
In certain ways. Relationship and stuff, which I think is kind of universal.
That's universal too, yeah.
But in terms of like race and things like that, I think when we're talking about things that white people can see, and you can tell me if you agree or not, when white people can see it, but they don't see themselves reflected in it, it's a little bit more digestible. But I mean, I guess that's, maybe I'm answering my own question, but maybe it's just always easier to laugh at someone else than it is yourself. Like, how many of your jokes then, so I can make it a poignant question, are a reflection of stuff you went through versus
it's some stuff
that you see?
It's I'll say about 50-50, honestly. You know what I mean? As far as like it's a lot more stuff I see or stuff I've been through.
Yeah.
Even if I haven't written it in a sense where it aligns with the actual story personally, it came from that space. I even think about like some of my jokes. Like I talk about convenience stores. It's like I kind of feel that way when I talk about my fear of convenience stores sometimes. But I'm like, that's the one where I kind of talk about like, I pick like appropriate snacks just in case, I might get shot on the way home. And then, it basically talks about the fact that like, it's so funny because like, we even talk about this, about people picking up certain things from different audiences and everything.
Yeah.
I can go in this joke where, I lightly joke about like police brutality, through the snacks that we take home, you know, in a sense. And like, one of my punchlines, I talk about hot Cheetos. I'm not gonna give away the joke, but like white folks at the end of the joke, after I talk about all this shit, they're like, hey, white people eat Cheetos too. Like, did you just miss the fact that I got shot by the police at the end of that joke? And you're talking about, you know what I mean? Like, it's very. Oh yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, you get that type of thing. I mean, people will completely like miss, and I mean, like sometimes you could tell they like completely missed it purposely. For instance, like if I don't watch like food documentaries on Netflix. You know why? Because if I sat there and paid attention to that shit, that means I would actually have to change. Like, you know what I mean? So
change
to know, to know better is to do better. And so like some people, I mean, I feel like we just go kind of like blindly ignore things on purpose where we won't have to do better. And that's in a lot of things, outside of just, race and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I not to, I guess, stay on this point too long, but what was the documentary that came out that everybody saw that wanted to be a vegan? I tried that shit for like 2 weeks.
What the hell?
What the health? Yeah. Did you do that shit too?
No, I didn't. I never got a chance to watch that one.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I was a vegan for like, not a vegan. I stopped eating meat for like 2 weeks because I thought all that shit was true. And then one of my friends was like, "Do you see how fucking edited this thing is in terms of being biased one way? How biased it is in one way?" It's like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should do some research. And it turns out, not everything you see in a Netflix documentary is true, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So, in terms of like your comedy, I've seen you on stage plenty of times, but for the people that don't know, what is your comedy about? And then on top of that, how do you make yourself stand out amongst like other comedians and stuff?
I mean, shoot, it's like giving some shit away. No, I'm being stupid. Honestly, as far as my
Tell
comedy,
us your writing secrets.
I know, right? What do you do, brother? No, honestly, I just really try to connect with the crowd. Honestly, you know what I mean. Yeah. Like a lot of people kind of miss that. Something I did very early on, where I'm just kind of telling bits to people. You know what I mean? And so that's something I had to kind of realize too, in order to connect. It's like, all right, let me slow down and actually find ways to connect with these people. If these are, situations that I feel they can go through, I feel like I could be like, right? You know what I mean? Like, so like a lot of times they really do. One thing I like song. That's something that I usually like. I mean, nowadays, people are very in their phones.
Oh, of course.
We have ADHD. Right, we have ADHD in several other ways. You know what I mean? Like, we have ADHD activism. You know what I mean? Like, we also can't just focus just in general. You know what I mean? So like, to kind of get people away from like feeling like they got that itch, I get them to use both of their hands and clap. You know what I mean? So I sing to people, get them interactive for like they're a part of the joke. You know what I mean?
True. With the what's the joke? All your song bits. Like you do a lot of song bits. Yeah. Where does that even?
I mean, honestly, it's funny. One of my first like really strong bits that worked. It was from that breakup. I was like one of my, it's funny. Yeah. Like Mark told me like punch that joke up, and I eventually found a way to punch, I guess, that pain that I was going through. Yeah. Up, and so I talked about music. It was one of the first things where I talked about like breakup music, kind of being the shit that can like get you through.
Oh yeah,
So from there I sung like 3 or 4 songs from there, from that like in that one bit, and like it was something I realized like it was something people can like identify with, like, oh, I know that, you know what I mean, and so. After a while, I guess I always made like little songs and shit like that, like joking around. Like, if it was a new popular song, I could throw some stupid words in and be goofy with somebody.
Just like parody.
And so that's kind of how I started doing even parodies too. It was like at first it kind of started off with me doing them on stage, and like some of them were like, this ain't gonna work for stage. You know what I mean? And it was like, let me just like try to cut this and put it on SoundCloud. And so I've been doing that as well.
True. How long have you been on SoundCloud? Because I know you have videos on Instagram and stuff too. So.
I've been on SoundCloud probably about 2 years.
Oh, that's it? I thought you went back.
I gotta look over at my stuff. Maybe about 2 years. Cause like
you didn't do beats and stuff beforehand.
Oh no, I definitely did. I never put them out to people though. Like my sister does. My sister does music too, and so that's probably
Tate Beats.
Yeah, Tate Beats
does the intro.
She does the intro. Yes, she does. Shout out to Armon Tate.
Yes. My bad, but SoundCloud.
Yeah, man. And so, oh no, you weren't cutting me off at all. But yeah, it started off from there. So I do like music a little bit to myself, but I keep majority of that shit to myself.
Okay. Are these like sad songs about
days,
days you're going through and shit? Or is it,
Nah, anything. I mean, if I'm just feeling like musically or something, like the same thing. Like I'll be up at like 2 a.m. writing comedy, to kind of like get that mental jog away. Sometimes I like make beats too. Okay. And so sometimes it helps. I can go back, for my joke after I feel like I've expressed myself creatively somewhere other place.
Oh, okay. So you have different what's the name? Mediums that you use for creativity.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. So you make your own beats. So when you, as opposed to like maybe doing like early morning writing, you'll do like make a beat or something.
Yeah, I'll make a beat because like I said, a lot of times when you get into you get into the writing process or whatever, and then sometimes you get into that block.
Oh, sometimes.
You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of times you get in that block, and so the best way for me, a lot of times, like I can just like kind of go to the side. Let me try to like make a noise. Like sometimes I don't even make a full song. It's like and I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, all right. Yeah, no, I actually make full songs though. But I'm saying like sometimes it doesn't have to be a complete song. It's like I can just like just mess with a melody or something and then go back over into anything. And so sometimes, like I said, that spills off into creating both comedy and music.
Okay. How many of those you got? Just
about 7 or 8 songs.
No, I meant like the little do.
Oh shit, like plenty of those. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't save those. If it's just a melody, I don't save it. If it's a complete like, I got like layers of like drums and like different things like that. Then I'll like save it. So I mean, honestly, I probably have like, I don't know. It's like half the time I'm like probably about 50 to 100 like bullshit like little beats that they're not anything that worth like make. I mean, I have maybe like 5 to 10 that I can make money off of. The rest of them are like trash. You know
have you heard of type beats though, man? Like those are, I think what people are making a lot of money off of today. So I'm surprised I'm telling you about fucking music. But,
I know, right? No, I didn't.
Nah, type beats, TYPE beats, are instrumentals that DJs or you know whatever, basically people at home make. Yeah. That are based off like other beats. So there might be a ASAP Rocky type beat.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, no, I know
them
what you mean.
Shits. Like, yeah. Which is crazy to me because that's
like one of my favorite new rappers, Mick Jenkins.
Oh yeah, love Mick.
Who I feel is like my
come on the show, Mick.
I know, right? Mick Jenkins is the shit. He has a song called Earl Sweatshirt type beat.
Oh
that's
yeah,
exactly
yeah. I got that album. Mixtape and shit.
Yeah. So he pulled that one from straight up YouTube. That was like somebody just finished to happen like such and such type beat. Nah, man, it's like I don't have that much energy to put it out like that. You know what I mean? Like as far as when it comes to comedy, like I'm all down for like creating some shit and like putting it out on the platform. Like music wise, I'm like I'm not even that passionate about my shit that much. You know what I'm saying? Like musically wise, for me to do it. Like the ones that I do like, I have shared them with people. You know, like I had like this is probably one of the cooler mixes. I did a mix with I mixed Jill Scott, like He Loves Me with I'm in love with the Coco. So it's very funny because it's just like kind of to me it's kind of like two opposite songs that if you mix them together it sounds very, you know, it's like, oh, these motherfuckers is right on point.
Nigga, you look like somebody who mixes Jill Scott beats. No offense.
No.
I mean that's what helps you, I think, you know, be you. You're like, oh, this dude is black and he's sensitive and
he cares about the people.
The hoes specifically.
The people.
Okay, which includes hoes of all walks of life.
But they didn't say that shit about MLK, okay? Martin Luther King is about the people, and so am I.
Man, Martin Luther King, I think he got a raw deal. All the dirt that came out after, you know, he was murdered. Like, he's one of those people, I think, at least in the black community, we cannot let anyone talk shit about. I don't care if it's a movie.
Oh, no, I feel the same as that.
I don't care if it's his best friend
going I don't mean, you know, the thing about it is I don't want to leave anybody...
He's as close to what a lot of black people think of Jesus is for just black people. Yeah. And the people putting out dirt about him are always not black. And that's the shit that annoys me.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, that happens a lot.
Not to get too fucking preachy and shit. I know we're talking about beats and stuff, but yeah. Unimportant. What is important? Your comedy. And let's talk about like Instagram and shit, because I know you're on Instagram. Yeah. With the beats you were just talking about, you do make songs. So how does that process go from I'm being bored to let me make a song to how's it end up on Instagram?
I mean, it kind of depends if I like really rocking with it or not. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like, this kind of works. Majority of the songs that I have written, they all usually go out. I only have like one like sitting back that I recently did where I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. Like as far as I will say this, the first one I ever made, you just never know. It's funny about like the whole idea of outrage culture and offending people, because a lot of times, you know, that's not really your point. Even though, I mean, honestly, that's kind of how you get people to kind of like your shit. You know what I mean? And so like one of my first ones was like kind of a touchy subject where it was kind of talking about like black people and single fathers. It was like Drake and Future.
Oh, single fathers.
Yeah, it was Drake and Future. Like where your ass was at. Like where your ass was at. Man. But like what I ended up doing was like where your ass was at, Dad, when I was in school. Where your ass was at. And so it was very funny. You know what I mean? But it was like one of those ones where I'm like, I don't want people to like take this the wrong way. So I like went back on that one. And then the other ones that I felt like were a little bit more, you know, just kind of acceptable. Where I mean, people would just like have a good time immediately from them. You know what I mean? I went ahead and put those out.
So like Easy Target is lower.
Yeah, like I mean that's what I'm going for the parodies wise. Stage, I'm a little different. I'll be, you know, I don't mind going against the grain on stage. Right now, as far as like Instagram, which call wise, I just get tired of people just going out their way to piss people off anyway.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I'm not really trying to like, you know, penetrate the. You know, I don't feel like I have to piss off my timeline for them to see that I'm talented. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know, nigga. I've never seen you in a wig, and I think that might be.
I know, they're like, I'm mad at this nigga. Let me share this shit. I'm out to the dress. God damn it.
No, I'm saying it more so like, hey, maybe you're already a nice dude. You're funny. Maybe you just need to don the wig once.
He's like, it just pisses people off. Piss people off.
No, dude. getting the white people's open arms, just like,
oh
hey,
nah, fuck that. I mean, that's not even a way to get.
You completed the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, I mean, majority. I mean, we do talk. That's even a funny subject too, man. I'll even get into this because, like, I think the whole like black entertainer and address is very groupthinkish anyway. When you hear people say it, because it's like one thing when you hear people talking. You ever heard somebody talking that sounds straight? Remember they'd be like, "You sound straight out the comic book." You ever heard somebody like, "Nigga, you sound straight out the internet." You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, dog, I literally have read everything you've just said verbatim somewhere before. I've heard somebody say it the same exact way you said it before, to the point that I really question if this is original thought from you. You know what I mean?
People stealing jokes?
No. I'm talking about like the whole like, man, like black entertainers wearing dresses, man. I could never do that. Like it's very true, but like a lot of people that everybody got that from that Dave Chappelle interview, and though it was very sincere and honest from Dave Chappelle, he definitely wore a dress and men in tights. So a lot of times it's very funny when you hear people say that. And then we didn't check him for what he was talking about. And then we like, yeah, man. And it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like he was very upset around that time. And like, you know, a lot of times just like we take a lot of our information from YouTube videos. You know what I mean? And like a lot of people went ahead and grabbed onto that. And that's like, hey, man, I ain't never getting put on a dress, man. It's just, you know, they're trying. And I'm like, there's plenty of other ways that white people will find to demean you. It is not going to be a dress, you know what I mean? But I mean, you know, if you want to go ahead and, you know, stick hard on that whole dress thing, you know, I just hope, you know, you have those principles about other things. You know what I mean?
True. I mean, because, that's one thing I definitely want to get into. Just like how race plays in your comedy.
Yeah.
And for me personally, just to preface it, I always struggle with the subject of jokes. When the subject of jokes is black people, because I think in media and other ways people digest information and content about black people, especially when they don't have like high levels of interaction with black people, if that's all they see, how is what I'm going to do either reinforce that or kind of break the mold? So I'm always conscious of, hey, if I have a joke about black people on this, like, how much, like you were saying earlier, do I want to go into this? Yeah. Or shed light on this? Like, do you ever get those thoughts? And
yeah, I mean, I see black people do it all the time, and there's certain
do what?
Kind of go at black people in this very because you know the whole point of sometimes we self-deprecate, right? So you'll see some people instead of self-deprecating, they'll culture deprecate and keep themselves above the line. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm different because I don't do all these things.
Yeah, or like, why don't black people wear J's? And it's like, look, if I'm gonna challenge black people, honestly, it's funny because I would assume that most white people would be a little confused on what the fuck I'm talking about if I was gonna challenge them one on one, because it's not gonna be that easy. Like, pick your pants up, you know what I mean? It's gonna be I don't like when other black people tell me which niggas to hate. You know, like I don't like when other black people tell me to hate other black people. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit I'm gonna go ahead and go hard on. But like I said, I would assume that most white people just would be like slightly like, what does he mean by that? You know what I mean? Like,
what? I mean, they watch, I think, more rap videos than we do nowadays. Like,
yeah. I mean,
at least like the newer.
True. I mean, just because they kind of into the culture doesn't mean that they know what is really going on with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they
they get the references. That's another thing I have to be aware of. Like, I know they might not get the meaning of what I'm talking about, but they understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah. And what is their takeaway going to be? Like, that's the kind of thing.
Yeah, so, that's very true. I mean, like, it's weird because it's like, you know, another thing too is, I don't know, about 3-4 years in, I was kind of like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't really give a fuck about, I mean, I do. Yeah. I mean, I already talk like I'm from their spot anyway, so I don't really try to cater to them. Usually, like I said, I'm trying to talk to us. Yeah. If they happen to be in there, you know, I want to make it at least.
So black people definitively are your audience.
Yeah, and and of course, you know, to make this money, it definitely has to be universally digestible to everybody. But you know, for the most part, I definitely am talking about my black experience. You know, it's funny how we talk about black comedy. Like, dog, I'm black, motherfucker. Like, my everyday experience is black. So like, if I'm
Blacklands,
that's really what I live in. Like, you can't, you know. So it's very funny when people try to like tell you to like talk about something else. What do you mean? I just went to the grocery store and black came up. You know what I mean? So it's very funny. You know what I mean? Where, you know, they kind of tell you to be like, you know, get away from that. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Have you? When was the last time you ran into something like that? You think, and trying to do stand up? your way through your lens, and like people are trying to challenge you.
I've definitely had that. I've had other comedians, and
that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not even just audience members.
No, like I mean, honestly, your peers will police you way before the audience will. I mean, like, and the funny part about the peers policing you is like when I've gotten that police from peers where it's like, because it's never like I'm like angry about it either. Like, like I said, I'm very friendly. So like I said, majority of any like things that I'm challenging people on, I make it somewhat entertaining, but they'll make it seem like I just like walk somebody, and I'm like, no, it's that dude that didn't make anybody laugh every week. He walked somebody, but I mean, you're not talking to him about his material.
That's because he's wearing a button-up shirt or fucking very comfortable t-shirt, and you can talk about how his dad played with his dick when he was young. Something weird.
Yeah, something weird. But hey, I can't talk about my experience sometimes. So it's very funny. So like I said, that's been the biggest thing in comedy wise is just like trying to, unfortunately, is I try to find ways to like play off of like get away from that.
Get away from what I mean? Just like race or like the
race and just try to just talk about yourself more. And then it's funny like as what's been going out here, it's been Trump and all this other bullshit. Yeah. It's so funny the same people that told me to stop talking about it are yelling it. You know what I mean? And so it's a little frustrating. I mean, the thing about it is like it doesn't really come from a lot of these people's hearts, so you can see when it's not genuine or when they're just kind of talking out their ass. About the joke. Okay. The joke, the race, I mean, all of it. You know what I mean? You can you can tell when somebody's pandering. You know what I mean?
Do you think you, in trying to focus on making black people your audience, do you see yourself pandering in any sort of ways?
No.
To a black audience? Not like, no. Black people shucking job type shit, but like, hey, this is for my black people. So I'm doing these specific things because I know it's black people. I want to listen to this.
Yeah, no, not per se. Like I said, like the one thing I mean, especially growing up, I've lucked up with is like me kind of having that upbringing where I was around white people for a while, but my parents have always kind of had me around my culture. I feel like I can do both. Like I never, you know what I mean? Like it's very funny how I see like people here where it seems like you have to be like left or right about it. It's like either you real black and you hood, or like you white as hell, and it's like kind of it's funny to be in the middle of it, and it's like, why can't I do both, yo? Why y'all keep trying to have me go, you know what I mean? Like it's very funny as far as like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they want the cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Or do you feel they want the cookie cutter, or do you feel like there's not? Do you feel there's a space for the gray area?
Yeah, it's a space for the gray area. I mean, it's plenty of people that are in that gray area. You know what I mean? It's just.
But how many of them are making it?
Oh, that's. I mean, I think people in the gray area are doing well. You know what I mean? Like
black entertainers specifically.
Yeah, that gray is pretty hard to which. I mean, I think the gray area that you're speaking of doesn't really get embraced until they've already made it to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like they're like, oh yeah, man, this dude's great. You know what I mean? Like, I see the gray area in Chappelle and Chris Rock and.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? I had the same exact upbringing as these people. You know what I mean? As far as like having a very. I mean, that's what it is like we were placed in very early around white people, so we know white people. I gotta host a game show about that shit. You know what I mean? Because I was just put in that space for so long. One thing, like I said, I looked up to is like my parents just always made sure that I was around other people. So it was like, while I was in those white spaces and white people were like, Armon, you're great. I've always been talented in a lot of other things. Sports, I was in, all these several things. When they were telling me I'm great or I'm different from the rest, I didn't internalize that as if I actually was. You know what I mean? And that's hard.
Yeah, you didn't take that OJ pill.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it is. It's like people will sit there and tell you, you're great. You're not like the others. And you become, I say, jaded. And the next thing you say is like, I'm not black, I'm Armon. And like, come on, get the fuck out of here. Like, to me, it's like, like just as much as I might be special, Justin special, Mark special, and every other black comedian, that I feel has their own uniqueness to it as well. So, that's just, I lucked up from I guess you could say the way. So I guess you could say I don't mind, like being in that middle spot. It's just funny seeing it like not embraced where people are kind of like, I'm like, this is America, nigga. Like no Donald Glover pun intended. Like, like what the, you know what I mean? Like how am I black and I don't have white influence? Like how are you white and you don't have black influence? Like get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So like trying to like dice that shit up to be like, oh no, they do that over here and we do it over here. Like where, nigga? You know what I mean? This is the melting pot. So it's like, if you can't get down with like different flavors in the pot, then why the fuck are you here? And that's I guess you could say gentrification, but you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, sometimes you can't help it. Even if you want to be stubborn, this is what you were born into.
Yeah.
So it's either shape up or shape out type shit. So question for you then, in terms of black people being your audience, what do you do when you have like an all-white audience or like an all-white atmosphere when you're on stage?
I do the same exact thing for the most part. I mean, the only thing that most people like, I mean, to me it should be very obvious, but like a lot of people don't understand this. I get really nervous. I mean, like, you know, you get black, I mean, this is all about how you know, you were kind of brought up. I have black comedians that they all deal with black people. They get around white people, they get nervous as shit. You know what I mean? You get other white people that get around black, they get nervous as shit. And honestly, I've been around both spots. I mean, there's really nothing to get nervous. You know, like I said, the biggest thing that I realized too is like language. You can say the same exact shit, but in different ways.
Switch,
I'll break it down in this way. For instance, like, I'm a professional bummer. I bum cigarettes and shit. I almost lost my life. That's a later story, right? So, so I bummed the cigarettes. So when I bum cigarettes from white people, usually is how I normally start. I used to be friendly. I'm like, excuse me, how are you doing today? Sorry to bother you, but could I bum a cigarette, right?
Yep.
When I said it like that, white people are like, oh man, no problem. If I say that to somebody from DC, they'll look at me like I'm fucked. Like, I swear to God, every time I'm, excuse me, brother, sorry to bother you. Could I possibly bum a cigarette? No. Hell, no. Like, they'll be real, like, in the bait. Hell no. You know what I mean? So what I realized is, like, with black folk, you got to be able to speak the language.
Oh,
people in DC, they say jack, right? Like, hey, man, can I bum a jack? And they're like, oh, shit, no problem, bro. I go to New York, you know what I mean? Like, and I say that same shit. Hey, can I get a jack? They're like, well, what you need to use my phone for? Miscommunication. They're like, oh, can I bum a Lucy?
Yeah, Lucy, yeah.
Same joke. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Different way. They're like, oh yeah, I got you. You know what I mean? Then I'm from Texas. We don't say Lucy's or Jacks. We say squares.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
So, can I bum a square? But like literally, I just said the same exact thing 4 times. You get what I'm saying? So to me, you should be able to know language enough, you know what I mean, to know like, okay, especially like when you start dealing with white people. For instance, like this is I'll give this one. Like I have a joke where, and this is horrible, I don't do it too often, but I talk about drowning a white woman, right? And it's about the Netflix documentary Blackfish, right? Just to like get people to be like, damn, this nigga is super aggressive. Like, no, it's a joke about whales and shit. But when I do that in front of black people, I tend to say drown a white bitch. They think that shit's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, but if I say that,
dream come true.
Yeah, right. If I say that in front of a white crowd, do you know the looks on their face when I say drown a white? They're like, oh, bitch, oh! And I'm completely lost. So to me, I feel like you should be able to know that. You know what I mean? As a performer sometimes. Yeah. To being like, okay, that's another thing that's very funny too, is like people not knowing what their punches do.
Oh yeah.
You should know what your punches do. If your punch knocks the whole crowd sour, you shouldn't be like, why is everybody not laughing? Because that's a punch that just knocks the wind out of everybody. You should know that already. But some people don't know that. They'll just keep telling that joke. I mean, I never get the reactions I want. I mean, you get the reactions you're going to get from that.
They laughed a lot harder than this a few weeks ago. I don't know why it didn't work tonight.
Yeah,
but.
And it's like, dog, you got to kind of know the power of, number one, what you fucking say.
Yeah, language, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, you should know better. It's like, if I say this offensive thing, are they going to smile immediately? No. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's I mean, but it's all a learning experience as we're doing. I still have a lot to learn my damn self. But that's just something that I've picked up too, where it's like, I can't believe this motherfucker's just like out here. You know what I mean? Like saying it like this and then doesn't realize like why.
It doesn't register.
You know what I mean? Like they'll say it in such, like, especially like a lot of men in comedy, they'll say it in such a very like, I'm with the guys way. And it's like, there's like several women in here and they, I mean, the funny thing I see with people is just see somebody on stage and the reactions of the crowd, they be rolling their eyes like, did this motherfucker just say this shit? And I'm like, you know what I mean? And it's like, they're not able to read these facial expressions of these people rolling their eyes at them. They're like, I did great, man. I'm like, nah, you know, but hey.
I got laughs from the back of the room.
Yeah.
That's funny as shit though. Cause like, 2 things that just made me think of when you were saying all that. One, hey, shout out to white bitches. You know, we not actually trying to drown you and shit.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just one.
Funny to think of. Funny to think of and shit. And you can, for the people that don't understand it, you know what I mean? Basically, I was talking about, like, you're talking about code switching. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. That, I think, was one of the things that, of all the things he pioneered, Richard Pryor was able to do. He knew how to talk to black people, and he did it.
Yeah, and he knew how to talk to white people too.
He already knew that though.
Yeah.
He was the first dude to go on stage and have a certain group of black people be his demographic, or, you know, people that can understand him first. I think that's also what helped him stand out. So like just saying, not comparing you to fucking Richard Pryor. No
oh
offense,
no,
but,
yeah.
Like there's value in that.
Close to think, yeah.
Because when you go on stage, you're trying to make a connection. You're not there trying to be rote or writ, and that's where I guess people who I don't know why this word doesn't work when I say this joke here. It's because you're not trying to make a connection with people. You're trying to say what you think is funny.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Fucking I think that was all 1 point. No, that was 2 things. The value of code switching and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. So in terms of, I guess, like, Richard Pryor, I'm assuming he's a role model.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Who else do you have?
Oh, man, I have several. I would say, so I told you the story about me first getting on stage. Maybe 2 weeks before I got on stage the first time, I saw Paul Mooney. And this is, like, right before Paul Mooney, went into dementia. It was, like, right before he went into dementia. So
before
I got a chance.
Had the cane and shit.
Yeah. I saw him, like, in his last little bit, and it was amazing. You know what I mean? Especially to see it live. We've been watching.
Where was it?
It was over at Howard Theater.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I went to Howard Theater twice to see him. Nice. And so the second time he was a little bit,
Was that the one with Dick Gregory? The second one?
No. I missed that one. I was gonna say, but yeah, like the second time I saw him, he definitely was like, you could tell he lost a little bit of his way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it still was enjoyable, to see it. But like Paul Mooney, Chris Rock, Sinbad are probably people that I like.
Sinbad.
Yeah. The
greatest beige comic. No offense, Leon, but the greatest. No, actually, no. It's fucking Sinbad. Forget him. The greatest beige comic I think of all time.
He's like by far one of my favorites, man. The whole idea of, the fact that he's not even cussing and he's able to like speak in the way that he speaks.
Sometimes.
Yeah, every now and then. It reminds me of like Kason, where it's like he's clean, but he's just able to. It doesn't matter. He's just funny. You know what I mean? And I enjoy actually them both. Honestly. Sinbad's like one of my favorites, man. I always joke about like I just said when I was a kid, being black in that white space very early. I remember, you had to wear chapter books. You had to bring like chapter books to like show and tell every now and then.
Nah, they ain't good books.
So like by the time we got into like like 4th, 5th grade, you would do like you would do like you would give chapter books to your class. You would show and tell basically, but it would be for like books,
like a book presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember it's this book called Sinbad's Guide to Life. And my mother gave me this book because like I wanted to read. Chris Rock just had a book that just came out too, but it was too adult for me. You know what I mean? But she's like, take this, and like, man, I love that fucking book, bro. Like, it was funny. I was just so happy to bring this experience. He was talking about whoopings. It was funny, and so it was so funny. I was like so excited to talk about this thing that I thought was just like hysterical. So I'm sitting here talking about like this black experience of whoopings and shit. And and I bombed like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I remember like saying this shit. I'm like so excited. I like close my book and I look up and like these white people like, the fuck, nigga? This isn't Fudgemania. You know what I mean? Like, and so it was like one of my first times. It's funny. My teacher actually pulled me to the side then and she told me like, this is like my little chubby face with glasses. She was like, don't worry, man. You're gonna get older. They're gonna slim up and they're gonna love you. And which is
lady or black lady?
Black woman.
White?
Black woman, yeah.
Okay.
And it was funny. She was. That shit became true very soon. I was that awkward kid very early, but after about like a few years, I slimmed up out of that, and I never had to deal with that again. So I'm blessed, But I didn't have to deal with, I guess, some of the ridicule some other comedians had to go through growing up.
Well, we all get. I think every comedian has some sort of like growing up story. I guess like all kids do, but there's something about them where they try to be funny early on.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't go well.
Yeah, but I just never was that kid. That's why I'm leaving. It's funny that I'm even a comedian looking back at that Sinbad book. Was like, that wasn't my intentions of reading that book. I never thought I was going to be a comedian as a kid. I played sports for a very long time. Thought I was going to do that. Then, like once I got to college, I was like, I'm going to be like a psychologist. Never really in my life was like, I'm going to make people laugh. It wasn't until...
that is a psychology though.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing.
Yeah. And so, that's kind of like where that kind of came from. Like as I was going through that transition of, I guess I was going through some shit myself.
Yeah.
And I was using that, I was expressing myself comedically. And it seemed like a lot of people reacted to that very well. So I had a lot of friends that be like, you should do comedy. I'm like, hell no. You know what I mean?
Only time class? Or you talking about something else?
Just folks. Like, my experience. Say like I had a really like tough experience living in DC in general, moving from like Dallas. I'll go back and tell stories of like crackheads smoking in front of me as I'm on the bus. Niggas would be like, dog. Like, you know what I mean? The way I would be able to tell some of these stories. They're like, you should do comedy. I never really took the serious. Like I said, the only time I ever thought, I was like, damn. Like Rollo, one time we were in a conversation with his ex-girlfriend. We were all friends and shit in college and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And so I was either complaining about my girlfriend at the time or something. He was like, dog, you're funny as hell, man. Like, you know, it's like, I remember he was like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, you talk like you're white, but you a nigga. Like, I remember he said that shit. It's like, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, he never told me to do comedy per se, but I remember like, looking at him, like, he was the only person I actually took serious about. Like, you're funny. Like everybody else, I'm like, whatever.
Was he doing comedy?
Yeah, he was doing comedy at the time. Okay, he started doing comedy.
By the way,
he was doing comedy very early when I was in college. I want to say he started our sophomore year.
Oh shit.
You know, or like I want to say sophomore year at least. Okay. Like, it was funny. Like, he probably doesn't even know this shit, but like I used to kick it with his girl. I remember like I would go into his girl's house and shit. We would kick it. He'd be watching comedy, like studying. Yeah. Like in the living room and shit. With like Jock and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" You know what I mean?
Jock was there.
Yeah, but like they, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Shout out to Jock.
Yeah,
Jock or Jock.
Jock West. Yeah,
Jock West. Kendall, both funny dudes and shit.
Yeah, and so it's just funny like how you can see like I said, I just never thought even at that time I didn't think I was gonna do comedy. You know what I mean? So it's just very funny like how that just kind of like fell in, and then I'm around these folks again. I was like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I know you.
Well, and then on top of that, I guess just in terms of influences, I guess they were both to a degree influences on you. At least
definitely.
Just trying to
seeing somebody else do
comedy.
it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I said, if I wouldn't even have went up there, I saw Rollo do his thing.
Yeah.
It was funny. I went to this place called Tabaka that used to be on U Street.
Okay.
And like him and Russ at the time.
Yeah.
I also did that show. It was funny. Keith used to run the show too, but just as I started comedy, I think Keith had just moved to Atlanta at the time.
Yeah, before you hit Jersey.
Yeah, and then I met him again. Then I met him on his way back to DC.
True shit. Okay.
So yeah.
So yeah. Are those all the influences you had though? We're talking about Mooney, Rich Pryor, Sinbad, somebody else.
I said Rock. And I mean, everybody, I mean, Chappelle at this point, especially the generation that we came in, of course, like Chappelle, you know, I was in high school and graduated in like 06, so like, you know, that show came out in like 04. You know
yeah, dude, fucking.
And so, yeah, I mean, we were on that very early, you know what I mean? Like.
That culture change, dude. That was a culture change.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, did you guys have the same experience? Like, I think it was a Wednesday night show, Thursday morning, everybody was quoting shit. Yeah,
we'd be talking about it, especially like, you know, I feel like it was a smaller group before when it was just kind of like the first season. By Rick James, bitch, everybody's talking about it. You know, I played football. Everybody's talking about on the football field. Or like, we working out, we sitting there joking about shit like that. So yeah, those moments were funny, man. Like, you know, so like those also influenced me as well. And then I think I also just shout out to my father and his storytelling abilities with his friends. I've always just been around with that. So it's
okay. How did that look? Just like growing up, they were all just sitting around shooting shit.
Yeah, you know, he's somebody he was friends over like play dominoes or like, you know, they used to play like Sega back in the day, like play video games and shit. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And they would be in the room talking shit. You know what I mean? Like drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, whatever the fuck. So like, you know, that also that camaraderie too, where you kind of see like, you know, black men being black men at a very young age is very funny too. Like, so yeah, I mean that's funny. I talk that way, but I keep that for like you know how I speak to you a different way than I speak to like most people. And that's kind of where I've gotten that from as far as like, you know, my father's influence and shit. You know, my father would call somebody. He's very funny. Like I used to like as a kid, I used to like listen for him to answer the phone because the way he used to greet his friends, like they used to be like they would ring up and be like, "You old goat sniffing motherfucker, what's going on, nigga?" Like, yeah, it was very funny, like hearing my father like greet people. I'm like, all right, like, what is he gonna say this time? You know what I mean?
Wait, so you're fucking ear hustling on the other receivers?
Yeah, I'll be ear hustling then. I know, like I said, I'll be ear hustling whenever he's like with his friends talking shit about like whatever their experiences might be.
Shit, okay. In terms of like influences, does he, outside of that, hearing him tell stories and stuff, has he had any other influences on your comedy, whether consciously or?
I mean, shit, he's had so many influences on my life, both my parents, man. So my father definitely, man, like, yeah. I mean, like, especially comedic wise, it's like that's definitely probably me expressing that side that you know that like I might not always get a chance to express when I'm just like on my day to day. You know what I mean? Like I mean that's kind of like how I started. People wanted me to do comedy because like the way I would. You know, we would talk in our personal conversations. They're like, I didn't even, you know, most people usually, you know, shocked that I even have these things to say when I put them over on the side. Because it's just kind of like.
You're so friendly. It seems so unopinionated.
Yeah. And so, but to me, it's like not everybody is worthy of hearing my fucking opinion. Which is really fucked up, especially in this, like, you know, outrage culture generation where everybody feels like they have to say some shit. I'm gonna be honest with a lot of people on here, especially if they're listening to the DC comedy scene, that they type every day. Dog, I don't give a fuck about what you have to say every day, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, take a break from that shit every now and then. You know what I mean? Breathe on the statuses.
But how are you gonna get followers?
I mean, true, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, like I said, it's just.
You don't want to see what I'm eating every day, Armon? Is that the fuck you're saying, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even mind those sometimes. Like I said, my main thing is like just people that like go out their way to purposely like instigate. It's like, dog, calm your ass down, bro.
Well, there's a few of those guys I think we both know, which will best remain under wraps from now, because, you know, if you ever want to book me, feel free, especially if it's paid. You know what I mean?
Booking you, bro. Let me stop being an ass.
Well, that's another thing too. Just like in terms of like standing out. So obviously you have the ridiculously well patterned man bun, which, you know, it's definitely a black thing before white people had it. Just for clarity's sake, rooted in ancient African culture. Very nice hair, and white guys just put it up like, you know, they don't know how to do their hair in the morning. Like a white, you ever slept with a woman and she had to like rush out the house?
Oh, she just threw the shit up. Yeah.
That's what white men's man buns look like. Yours actually has like patterns and shit. So,
yeah.
Compliments to that, even though it's still dorky to me. Either way, in terms of like standing out, you got the man bun. What else do you do? You got the music. What are the things that you try to do to stand out on stage?
Be myself.
Just be yourself. Oh, did we talk about this shit already?
I don't know. I don't think necessarily be myself, but just that direct about it anyway. I don't think I said it that direct.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's honestly, I mean, that's the thing about it. I stick out. I know I stick out and walk any fucking room, especially in the scene. You know, I don't know if that's a great thing or not, always. You know, especially like, you know, we're competition for other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like, you can't tell me I don't stick out, regardless of like, even outside of how I look. Like, I could cut my hair and actually get the same fucking reactions to, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't want everybody to be like, if he just, cause his hair is long and it's real pretty. Like, no, I would still be more entertaining than some. But yeah. And so yeah, like, more than anything, like I said, I think just being you. Like I said, I think me being myself and like not being as self-conscious as I really am about my friendliness and just kind of like letting that kind of like just be, you know what I mean? Like, I think that does help. Like, you know, you'd be surprised. Like, I am self-conscious about that shit. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Like I said, like, I'm very comfortable on stage with it.
Yeah, because you're a human too. I think everyone has like, you know, shit internally. Yeah. That's always going to bug them about themselves. Whether it's like my voice or, you know, your weirdness about yourself. I don't know, man. You seem like, you know, a good dude to me and shit. I am personally surprised you don't get booked more for stuff. But at the same time, I guess it's just part of comedy nowadays. Like, you gotta be more entrepreneurial nowadays. Yeah. Like, what are you doing specifically to not just stand out on stage, but like carve your own lanes? Yeah. So I mean, that's why I started to do a little bit more of like online stuff. Like, that's why I started to be more courageous in putting out some of my material online. Yeah. Which, I mean, I have a lot of just even sketches I've written up, but it's just so much energy to even try to get that out. It's so much different from stage. Like, you know, I get on stage and write something, I'll go right on stage immediately. Yeah. I write the sketches and I'm like, shit, and I gotta find people that fit these roles, and then I gotta actually get them to like want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I have yours are definitely more elaborate than just the single cam or 2 cam joints you see on like Instagram or something.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that one outside of that too. That's why it's so easy with the single shot. It's like, let me just sit in my car and talk about like relationships and bitches and shit. It's very easy to do that type of shit. You know what I mean? Not to like shit on anybody. You know what I mean? But I mean, we know it is what it is. It's like you literally see about 100 niggas doing it. So it's like, okay, well, clearly, you know what I mean? So yeah, not to say that other people aren't doing the same shit I'm doing. I'm not that fucking original, but yeah, it definitely takes a little bit harder to do those type of things. Like I said, especially more so when you're just involving more people.
True. Like, how long does it usually take? At least just for like, you've told me before, where like the music parodies or the Instagram parodies. Like, how long do you actually spend on one from start
to finish? Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's funny because like, you know, I've had a lot of time. Luckily, I just recently like found a better job now. Yeah. But before I always had a lot of times. And so like I would finish a song in about 24 hours. I would finish a song in about 24 hours. Yeah. But I mean, like, that's what, like, not sleeping, like, damn near, like, falling over as I'm, like, you know, cutting a song or something. Okay. And then from there, that's another part. Then you got to take the song and then you do the video. So like, that took a long time. Like, the first parody that I've done was like the Bad and Bougie parody.
Yeah, the Migos joke.
And that one was hard, just trying to get somebody to kind of understand your vision. And it took. I'm glad I had to find the dude that did that. It's my friend Jason, but I'm like, what is this damn hashtag? Fuck, Jason Hickson.
Okay.
Cool brother or whatever. He's
directed it, right?
Yeah, he helped direct it or whatever. And it came out basically how I wanted to, especially like for my first time shooting something.
True.
It came out. It was very cool. Like the second parody, I've done a few other ones, but like the most recent one I did is like the spell. I did another Migos one. I think I'm gonna be off of that shit. But
not the interview joint.
The therapist one.
That was the last one.
That was the last one. No, I haven't done any more parodies.
Okay.
And that was the last parody I've done. And so like that was in January. And that one was really fun, man. Like getting a chance to actually do it with other comedians too. Like so, the last time I did it with like my friend and like another dude that also like shoot stuff, which is cool. But like to kind of have like I had Glenn with me. He was helping like shoot a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then I also had Fernando, who like as soon as I wrote it, I saw Fernando in it. You know what I mean? Like
fucking dumbass hat he wear.
Hey, that hat's fly. You know what I'm saying? Comedy used to wear that hat. And
shout out to comedy.
Yeah, and Fernando. And so it was just one of these things where I had it written, but I feel like just having those like minds, creative minds in a sense too, help boost that up even more. And like it's always cool to have people that have more knowledge than you and other things too. Like Glenn had more knowledge in me and like shooting things, so like he made it look beautiful. What was very cool is like I didn't get like the most love from it. Yeah. But like the actual show, the therapist or whatever, they actually retweeted my post or whatever.
Oh really?
Like, yeah.
Oh,
like
nice.
the producer from Viceland liked my shit. So that was pretty dope. You know what
shit.
I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, as far as like, getting a million likes and like, having my timeline understand it. It was even my sister was like, Mom said she didn't get it. Like, what I mean? Like, but I mean like how much I can't expect like my mom to get,
Did
shit about the Migos.
Though, to get the
No. So I don't think she understood it because this is like it was actually a show I was doing. You know what I mean too. So it was even funnier. Like about 2 weeks ago, Donald Glover did it on like Saturday Night Live. Yeah. And so that was kind of cool. You know what I mean? Seeing like it's been some other things that I've actually outside of just that particular sketch that I've done that you see get put up on the internet.
People doing shit. Yeah.
And so like I said, that's very inspiring to be like, okay, well I think I'm on the right mark. Like as much as I might not get accepted by certain people. I know my comedy is doing well because it's being shared on the internet. It may not be from my platform, but same exact type of, like I said, space. So it's like, hey, just try to like rub with the right people. True. And maybe maybe one day I'll get those type of responses when I do my material. You know what I mean?
Dude, I mean you already get it on stage, but yeah, it's not like wrong.
But yeah, I mean I'll tell you this. So. I've also had a very that's another reason why. I'll tell you another reason. One thing that in the scene a lot, we have a lot of peers that are, like our big brothers to us that will tell us about, what we should do, what we should not do. Yeah. One thing I've lucked up with that a lot of us don't is like I had the chance to be around people through work, like outside of comedy, like I've done security and different things. I do security for like the BT Awards. Yeah. I've had a chance to like be introduced to like James Davis, Chris Spencer, Billy Sorrells gave me the best information, and this is just like as far as
newer dude, Billy Sorrells.
Yeah, with the thick waves. Yeah, he basically told me like, hey man, you can't just do stand up. You know what I mean? You have to like you got to host. What you're doing, like you have to be fully immersed in this type of stuff. You need to be making videos. You need to be making this like. There's so much money to grab in different places. You can't just sit in this one spot and expect to get growth from there. You know what I mean? And so I was like, thanks, man. And then like I also like maybe like my first like 6 months into doing comedy, I did a job in Atlanta where I drove around like Bill Bellamy and Ricky Smiley and Deion Cole.
Oh, you already doing comedy?
Aaron Jackson. Yeah. I had just did comedy. So I don't think I even told anybody I was doing it because I was like, how the fuck I look like telling somebody like, I just started doing comedy for 6 months. You've been doing it for 27 years. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like, so I just kind of stayed quiet and, I think I told Aaron Jackson and another dude named Johnny Sanchez and Dion that I did comedy. Everybody else I didn't say shit about that too.
Just try to soak it up.
Yeah, and then like I soaked majority of stuff up, but all those 3 people I had named, gave me some really good information as well and very inspiring. So, to kind of see some of our big brother peers kind of like, they do the same thing, but it can be a little bit of deterring. I just kind of like, brush that shit off because I've lucked up and I've had the chance to be in the presence of some people that I know is actually doing something.
Yeah, it's best not to name.
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
Oh no, you're good. Is there a reason why you asked certain people over others when you were doing that gig specifically? Or?
No. I mean, it was funny just because like it just kind of naturally went that way.
Okay.
Aaron and Johnny were kind of like the newer kind of everybody else been doing it for a minute. They were kind of like like younger comedians and shit. They're kind of like just like you guys, the new guys. So like it was easy for me to talk to them. True. You know what I mean? Like at first, like it's funny. Like anybody's personality too. You can be deterred by that. I saw Bill Bellamy. He dresses like he's younger than me. So like I was like, this nigga's gonna be an asshole.
Hold up.
He was amazing. He was very nice and really had good energy and like
Yeah, I saw him in person at the improv, dude. Nothing but positive vibes from dude.
Yeah, positive energy, man. Really good dude. And so that was the funny part about it, seeing those different personalities too. There were other people I got a chance to do because like as a producer named Royale Watkins.
Okay.
That was producing the show. And so that's really cool seeing that. I mean, he does very well. He still does comedy, but he also produces like shows in New York and LA. And
you gotta be everywhere. Like, what's the name said? Bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, that's just learning those things as far as like how to, I haven't learned how to produce shows yet. I mean, I feel like it's so oversaturated. I'll take my time on that. But
man, I've been thinking about producing some recently, just based on like some other models I've seen. But is it? I guess when do you? In terms of, I guess, like just moving this a little bit. Next question: what do you think are your next moves, just in any sort of part of comedy?
My next moves in comedy, honestly, is just moving on to a new place. Honestly, that's like as much as I don't know as many as DC greats, come from DC. I don't know plenty of them that were great in DC. I don't know too many of them that come back.
True.
So with that being said, I mean, shout out to Tony for coming back. Tony Woods is like one of the better comedians. He comes and gives us fucking you know what I mean?
Tony Woods is that dude. Surprisingly, I was doing a work gig yesterday, and I was driving one of my coworkers home. Didn't have a car, and she was like, "Yeah, so I went to the show, blah blah blah. I put on, and there was this really funny guy on stage that was the headliner. He seemed drunk most of the time, but he was really funny." I was like, "Was he black and bald?" It's like, that sounds familiar. That's Tony Woods. He's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, you should Google him. I'm pretty sure if you Google Tony Woods, that's exactly who it was." She's like, "I don't know, but I'll do it." In like 2 seconds later, it's like, "Oh my God,
that is him."
How did you know? It's like, that's what Tony does. Like, he's that kind of dude. But all I have to say, he's still killing it here in DC. For whatever reason, he's back, but still, he's one of those dudes who, I mean, in terms of that can go anywhere.
Yeah, and he's also somebody that's given good knowledge too. And
I mean, he's done a lot more things than I think anybody else in the scene that happens.
And like I said, it's very.
He's willing to share it.
It's also organic. You know what I mean? Like it's not like this motherfucker's coming out here to be like, "Hey, young blood, I got something to tell you because I got all the knowledge." It's like, nah, he just kind of like, we'll be talking and he'll be like, "Jewel," we like, "Oh nigga, thanks, that was random."
And that's if he wants to talk to you. You don't talk to everybody, so if you do get one, especially in a one-on-one,
you're like, "Oh, thanks, I was," yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be like really random where you'll just be like, "Hey, how was your day?" You'd be like, "Yeah, blah, 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 blah." You're like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean?
On stage. I should be more conscious of who's in the
he'll give you like a colorful story or some shit. You're like, "That's actually pretty cool. Thanks for letting me know about that."
Yeah, sometimes I'll just ear hustle on his conversation just to hear him tell a story because I suck at storytelling. So
just to hear people like how he moves, like
how well it's done and shit. But yeah, shout out to fucking Tony for being here and shit. But you want to move? Well, you said you're moving, I think next year, right? Mm-hmm. L.A. What other, in terms of like, I guess, branching yourself out in comedy, not just different scenes? What other moves do you
it's definitely doing, it's funny, doing more parodies. I've definitely gotten into like, doing the face type of like, what am I trying to say? Everybody's
social
doing
media?
like the face-to-face type of like I'm interacting, directly to you type of videos.
Type shit,
yeah, so every now and then the thing that does kind of, it's weird as far as like, everything's so Something big will come up like like the Donald Glover thing or like R. Kelly or something that everybody wants to kind of talk about it. It's hard to like that's where I'm like I don't know how my voice is gonna be so much different from other people. So a lot of times I just kind of like stay back because it's very oversaturated. So it's like most of the time if I do put those videos out, something that I thought was funny or something that spoke to me at the moment. Yeah. And it's usually usually no one else is doing that subject matter. You might see it. You might see it on Jesus and Mero like the next day or something. You know what I mean?
But they're like a talk show, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean the one thing that I luck up with is like I can get it out in the morning before they get out in the evening. So like you know what I'm saying? That's what I'll have something out and I'll be like, damn, they just did the video like about 12 hours before, but that's because they 12 hours after, man. But yeah.
So your thing is just being more in terms of getting more social media content out there.
Yeah.
You try to keep it organic.
Yeah.
And that like.
I mean, like I'm kind of it's hard to not want to do that whole social media grind as far as like trying to get because that's all they want. You ain't got some followers, dog. It's just.
That's how you get booked.
No, I know. I mean, and so it's hard. You do have to do it, but it's like I don't know. I haven't found the way for me personally.
Yeah.
To infiltrate that and get those people to understand my personality fully.
Well, what would you say? You don't know how to do that at the moment. You're trying to learn it, while also just trying to feel good about yourself while doing it. So you don't feel like you're whoring yourself out. Yeah, that's what I get worried about.
Yeah, I did a parody for This Is America actually, and
already?
Yeah, I make some shit fast, bro.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean?
Did you do the one about the feminist? Was that you?
No, that's funny. I gave it to the white woman and she drowned. No,
she should have.
And so you see those type of things. Mine wasn't it wasn't as controversial, but it also wasn't light like the other ones too. So that was the one thing that I was like, I don't want to be preachy on that song because I wasn't really trying to be preachy. It was just more of like a comedy.
Like a real parody.
Yeah, like a real parody, you know what I mean? But it was like, you know what I mean? Like, and then like you see like all these damn Donald Glover think pieces out. And it's like, do I want to be lost in the shuffle of everybody that just wants to be heard? So they're just saying shit to be saying shit. Yeah. And so I kind of backed away from it. I might put it out. I never know. But like right now, it's definitely.
Oh, it's not even out yet.
It's in the can. I definitely like kind of like put that to the side where it's like, Like one thing I've also looked with is I have people I creatively like right. That's what I'm moving to LA with.
Yeah.
It's some people that I kind of like bounce ideas off of and different things like that. Like one of my best buddies who's not feeling that shit. Like he liked it, but it was like kind of the same exact.
Your song? Or
the song. Like he liked the song, but it was just kind of like it's not like all the other parodies that I did. You know what I mean? Where it's like the little Uzi Vert and talking about joking about weed or like joking about 21 Savage bank account. I'm joking about like college student loan debt.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit different. So it was just kind of like,
it's too similar.
Yeah, I mean it's too similar, but like I said, it just felt like I was just latching on, and so I just was like, I'll pass on it.
True. Okay. Well, I know you gotta go soon, so I'm gonna end it with this last question. In terms of advice you received, I know you shared some stuff about like Billy Sorrells and what he shared with you, but what are like 1 or 2 pieces of advice that have really helped you in comedy that you could share? Unless they're that damn good and you want to keep it to yourself, totally understand.
I'm trying to think about the best advice that I've gotten from somebody. I'm like, damn, what have I gotten? Like, basically, the Billy Sorrells one was just kind of be more. Honestly, the best advice I've gotten is just pure experience. You know what I mean? Of just kind of like.
Get your raps type shit.
Not even that. Like just kind of seeing like how it works is like maybe getting a door slammed in your face, or you're not necessarily being accepted this way, or like those type of things kind of are the learning experiences to me. You know what I mean? Especially on the stage. I mean, like I think especially I always try to tell people like you go out almost every day. You're somebody that's very dedicated to the craft. Yeah. And I can't always go out as much as everybody does, Yeah. One thing I can always say, the best advice for me is I can say this is like, it's a gym, it's a workout, But just like a workout, you can't work out every day and expect to be strong. You're gonna strain yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, the thing about it is like I also happen to see people that just go to the gym just for the sake of going to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, are you on the treadmill right now eating Snickers, nigga? You need to be at the gym working on specific shit. When niggas that are swole are going to the gym, I'm working on my legs.
Yep.
I'm working on my chest. I'm doing cardio today.
Today's a leg day.
Yeah.
Today's an arms day, type shit like that. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like how I approach it. I make sure that I, try to get my full body workout with the chances I get. I still go about 2-3 times a time, but that's probably the best way. And, don't let other amateurs out amateur you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because I always tell people this is like, the only time an amateur is out amateur somebody is a porno. You know what I mean? Like,
shout out to amateur porn, man. My favorite genre and shit.
But amateur comedy, we're all in the same boat together. You know what I mean? There's no hierarchy to amateur comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Some dude tried to show me up. Think it was last year or some shit. Like, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this.
Oh, I've gotten that so many times.
Yeah, dude, but we're all here at the same open mic.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, somebody tried to tell me they literally got 1,000 hours in. Like, I've done this, and it's like, good for you.
Yeah, what more do you expect?
Yeah,
or
good
why
for
do
you
you expect any shit?
Yeah.
You're not doing it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think people that are like, self-conscious about actually making people laugh say shit to you like that.
I concur. Because this is not that kind of podcast, we will not.
I don't even have any specific names. Half the time I was even saying.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
yeah,
saying.
like anything I said, there was nothing out specifically, that I felt about anybody. Quite honestly, I was just talking to be talking.
Yeah, and you just notice things like, okay, put that in your little mental logs. Like,
yeah.
I remember that shit.
But more than anything, support black comedy, black comedians, all comedy, quite honestly. Like, I'm not somebody that's like even...
But black more so, because we're better at it. Fuck that shit, man. Would not be no strong-ass white comedy today without strong-ass black comedians.
Oh, yeah. I feel like, that's why we have to be there anyway. It's just like, I mean, who's going to push the envelope to make it better other than black entertainers?
White people will do it. Who's going to do it well? Because when I had Terrence on last week, his big influences were like Def Comedy Jam and shit like that. So it's like, nah, motherfuckers, y'all definitely get shit from black culture. And I mean, and that's how I feel about it. I have evidence to back it up.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to agree with me. I mean, there's like people. You don't have to agree, but nah, man, we do this shit the best.
There we go. Black comedy telling our truth.
Fucking all right, man. Any last words?
I mean, I'm good, man. Just I guess you can check me out online. I give you guys my little tags and shit. Armon ARMON _online is basically anywhere you can find me. That's Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud is where you get all those parodies.
Okay.
Of course, Facebook as well. And yeah.
You on Twitter?
Yes, Twitter as well. I every now and then, if I feel like saying some shit, I might say it on Twitter, but I don't speak too much on Facebook. So if you want to hear me talk about some shit every now and then, I might put a status up on Twitter.
Okay. You got any shows or anything you want to plug coming up?
Let's see. I do have a show on the 22nd with my boy Glenny Mac. Let me actually get the exact location for you guys. For you guys won't just be like, he said something on the 22nd.
That is May 22nd, right?
Yes, May 22nd.
Okay, that's Tuesday, May 22nd. Him and Glenn McDonald. Glenn Lawrence McDonald, the homie who, is a yogi and shit. He's got a show coming up next. Oh, shit. Okay, so this will drop on the 20th.
Okay, yeah.
And that'll be out on the 22nd.
So, it's going to be at a place called the Wonder Garden. And that's 1101 1st Street, Northeast, Washington, D.C. The show starts at 7:30 and it's free. And it actually has a few good people that I'm excited to go see today. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we got some good people on the lineup, including myself. And definitely come out, man.
Okay, and what time is that again?
That's at 7:30.
7:30, Tuesday, May 22nd. The Wonder Garden.
Wonder Garten, yes.
Garten with a T, right?
Yes.
It's German shit. On Tuesday. So come check out Armon on Tuesday. This will drop, of course, on Sunday. So it's not like you don't have time to listen and support and shit. But yeah, Armon, thanks for coming out, dude. Glad to have you on and shit, man. For you guys listening, this has been another episode of On the Ground with Justin Brown. My guest Armon Tate.
Thank you, bro.
Armand the comedian. We'll never let him live that shit down.
My first stage name.
And the last one I will acknowledge.
It might just be Armand. We'll see. We'll see soon.
Armand the comedian. Love to have you on. Until next time, guys. Take care. Appreciate you.